What I'm describing here is the little bosal that I've made and I'm going to use on this other horse. I'd like to say about this horse, I've never seen this horse before the day I rode him. And I'm putting the bosal on him right now. This is a bosal that can be made out of a hard twist lariat rope that is thrown away, which I made. And then it put together with a headstall and a Theodore. Now the Theodore is what holds the hackamore up so it can actually be used as a halter to tie the horse. Now, I used this on the other horse, and if you saw the other video, I think this one's going to be a little more complete because on the other one I didn't talk about or show the saddling process. Now on this particular horse, I'm going to just tie him, leave him tied up, where the other one, after the saddle, I let him go, but you can do it either way. The more gentle ones, I don't know, the ones I determine are more gentle are the ones that I tie up. I don't tie up. Now here I'm just currying the horse off, getting ready for the saddle. And as you see, the horse is relatively gentle. What I mean is he's been around people, but he's never been ridden. And that's what will happen as we speak. And I'll go through that again, how that works. Now, gentle means that you can curry them. You can be around them. They're not afraid of humans, which a lot of horses are not that way. As I mentioned before, this technique can work even on the wilder ones, and some very wild, but I would do it different than this. I would do some things to get it less or more accepting of what I'm asking. You can see the horse being tied up to the corner post there. And in a moment I'm going to go ahead and put the saddle on him. What I said right there is I put my hand over the eye of the horse. That has a effect of getting them gentle and calm. Now, with this, I'll put on the pad. This is the pad coming here. Do it gently. I don't just throw it on. And they say, well, you don't want to sneak up on them, and I'm not sneaking up, but I'm not just throwing it on there. Now, if I want to do some desensitizing, I may gently throw it and then be more aggressive with throwing it up there to desensitize the horse. See the saddle coming around to the left side. Put the cinch up, and I don't put the stirrup up. And that's what I'm describing here, because when you get it on the horse, the stirrup will make it so it's more balanced, and the saddle is less likely to fall off. And again, I put it on gently. I don't sneak, but I don't just throw it on, because you don't need to have it at this point. Now, when I take the cinch down, I walk to the other side. I don't just throw it down. Don't just flop it down. Again, that can, if you get him used to it, that can work. But I take it down easy, watching my horse, make sure I'm reading everything is working okay. Adjust the saddle or the cinch on that side of the horse. Put the stirrup up. Reach under to get the cinch. I like to have my latigo wrapped up and ready to go, but I just undo it and then put it through. Now, I gently get the cinch a little more firm until it's just good enough to hold it on, not too tight. I mentioned that in the other one as well. Do it all the same way. Again, I'm paying attention to the camera and trying to explain it, but I'm over or voice over this because the explanation did not come off good. But just so you know, this is how I've not only done these two horses, but thousands before and thousands since. This is about 25 years after this occurred. So I did it in 98, and this is 2023. If you do the math, that's about 25 years ago. But I had done this on thousands of colts before I ever shot this video. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get the lunge line and the stock whip. Now, the whip is not something I whip the horse with. I just encourage us. I hope you've seen in the past with the other one, and I just throw that whip right out there in the middle, kind of get it out of the way. You don't need it until you need it, and then when you need it, you just reach down and pick it up. There's just a lot of things to be thinking about here. Now, this is, like I mentioned before, is where if there's going to be a problem, that this will be it. This will be where the horse has a problem. This horse doesn't, but I rarely have one that does because I'm cautious about how I get him started. Cautious meaning I don't go fast, just enough. See how the horse is looking around. It's the first time he's had a saddle on him. Reach down and get my tool just to get. Now this horse goes a little bit easier in the moving forward than the other horse did. Why? It could be a lot of reasons. Separate personality. It could be that he's had a little bit of work with him. The other horse, didn't because he was my horse. This horse, as I mentioned before, I had never seen before this day and just a few minutes before this all got started. And I'm going to the left because the left is usually the easier side. With a horse that's been around humans, it will be the easier side. Now, I stop, and I'm going to go the other way. This is an issue that a horse could have, but I just move him as slow as I need to, but as fast as I can. I don't ever lunge one in a trot or a canter in this first step because you don't need to. In fact, it can create problems. Again, there's no rope on the saddle. There's no back cinch on the saddle. That can come later, and that's a misnomer. In my opinion, it's a misnomer. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is tie the head around to the left, as I did the other horse. And I just go through the back of the saddle there. I think I tie this one up to the saddle horn. I don't know. The other side, I guess I don't. You see, this horse doesn't have quite the anxiousness of that other horse. He's more level-headed, I guess. And now I pick up my encouragement tool, which is called a stock whip, but I don't whip the horse ever. And to get him to go in a circle once he gets used to. See, he took a step on his own there. He took a step on his own. And notice this is just a pen that the horse is kept in. It's not a round pen. You can do this any place. I wouldn't do it out in the open, though. I have, but out in the open, you can use the enclosure to help you. So just let him go, let him think about it. And now I'm going to get, I think, and start him moving. And here he goes. Here he goes. And again, I'm going the opposite direction. It's just to get him to follow his head. The head is taken to the side, and the horse just follows his head around. This has got the shelter in there. There's a little concern I had there, and I do now, about the one pulley right there. But the horse figured it out. And allow it to happen. Now, when the horse is struggling, it's a good idea to just leave them alone. See if they'll figure it out. Now, if they get in trouble, that's when you step in to help them. What you do depends on the trouble they get into. Again, just following around. The horse just follows his head. Not a problem at all. Now I'm taking this on my phone, but shooting it on my computer, from my computer, which is where this is at. But I'm trying to make it available from my phone to my YouTube channel so that people can benefit from it. Now, see what's happening there? He's going, he's a little frustrated. And that's common. But again, he'll get over it. And he did, as you see. All right, now I'm going to let that one go and take him the other way to the right. I'm anxious as I watch this to tell stories about horses that have not been this easy and actually difficult, but yet have followed the same path to get where these horses are getting and eventually will be. There, he's just kind of figuring it out. Now notice I just lift my whip up just to kind of encourage him to move and go the opposite direction. I think I need to say this in real time. There's nothing cut out of this. This is how it happened. Reality happened. And as you also may understand or see, that doesn't take very long. Doesn't take very long. Now, while I'm doing this, there's something that came to my mind I'd like to say, and that is all the desensitizing can happen and does happen after the horse, while I'm getting the horse ridden. Riding the horse is the best thing you can do for him. So the tarps, there's none of that. Not that that's bad. There's no waving back and forth of a carrot stick, even though that's not a bad thing. I'm just getting him used to following his head and accepting me. And I say it like this: I build in the control and take out the fear. And I don't know if I take all the fear out, I just avoid it. Because if you're going to get in trouble, it's because of anxiety and fear the horse has. Now, see, the horse stopped right there. And I don't know if that was the best decision to undo him, but it worked. Because the horse goes from the release, learns from the release of the pressure. What I mean is, if you if you release the pressure, he says, okay, I stopped. But that'll be circumvented if that is something he learned right there. Okay. Now at this point is when I'm pretty sure I will tighten the saddle up a little bit, because I want to make sure it's firm enough. Because this is where I start putting my weight on him and eventually be on his back. Okay, so here we go. Tighten the cinch up, just lift it off. Now notice when he backed up, he was nervous. I just quit. I do a little more, then I quit. Now again, I'm showing the horse being tied. Do that on the other side. Now, in my opinion, I didn't do much. I just a little bit on one side, and I did on the other side. And I'm fixing the Theodore so if the horse did pull back, he wouldn't pull the hackamore off of him. And as I mentioned before, I've actually made what I call a hackamore halter that works the same way, and there's a lot of things I put on them that you don't need, but it works pretty well, like a noseband and whatever. I mean, a braided portion over the. There I go. See, I'm just watching the horse. Watch the reaction, lifting up my legs. Now, what this does, and I may have mentioned this in the other video, what this does is it gets him used to the weight without getting him used to me being up on top of him. Both of those are contributors to fear. Now here's where I'm going to get on top of him, or on starting. Now right there, see here the movement? I don't know. Was there something bad could happen? It could. That's why I just backed off. Again, you just back off, and then go over the other side. And this all is getting him ready for me mounting him. Okay, now the person that taken the video just went to the other side. I'm not going to get up here. So I notice I don't put my right leg in there, right foot in there. I just put my left foot in there. Just getting ready to swing the leg over when I get on him. Now, something very important here, I'm pretty sure as I remember, when you get on him and he's tied up, if that's what you choose to do, don't stay up there very long. In all cases, you don't. So I just swung my leg over, gentle, and I'm telling him, things are okay, don't worry about it. Then get right back off. And again, I get off the offside. Now, what this horse has learned is, this guy's he's not hurting me on the left or on the right. And I was saying right there, I've seen horses just kind of fall back, and at that point, you want to get out of the way. But that's one of the obstacles, I want to say dangers, of tying them up. But I've done a lot of them tied up. A lot of them. And if you do it right, you're not in problems at all. And I'm going to get on him again. Just like that. Swinging that leg over. See, the reason a lot of people get in trouble because they swing the leg over and then the horse hasn't seen it. And they go, ooh, what do I do? Now, right here, the horse is untied, as you see. I'm trying to tell him everything's good. Everything's good. He's not afraid. Now, I'm going to turn his head one way, probably the left, and I'm using my legs, but I really don't like me doing that. I haven't done it much. But sometimes it gets them moving, but they don't know what that means. So the other horse just moved, and I took it. This horse kind of moved to the right. Sometimes that'll be the direction they go first. Okay. Now then, again, no spurs. I don't know why people want to use spurs on a colt. That can be a really, really bad reaction. Do I use spurs to ride? Absolutely, but not on a baby. Now I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to put another video in here of another colt I did at a clinic. I started. Now, you didn't see, I don't know if you saw that, but it was kind of quick. I just moved back with my reins to tap him on the back, behind the saddle a little bit to get him to move that direction. I moved just to move forward, but he's going that direction because, you see, I've already built the control in, meaning he knows to follow his head. So it's kind of like pieces of a puzzle here. You put this piece in, that piece in, you get enough pieces, and there's only just maybe 4 or 5 pieces that we need to put in here to get this to work. And you get the whole picture. If that makes any sense. And going in circles like this is all I do. Now, let me talk again. I probably did on the other one. The next day, tomorrow, let's see, I do this. This is the only time I rode this colt. The owner or the other trainer rode him from there on. But the next day, I do exactly the same thing. What I mean is, but it goes a little faster. Pretty soon you're getting on them just like a broke horse and a gentle horse. They all end up being gentle, and because you're kind of them. There's I don't know if I should use this word, a thing I learned in my master's degree called the norm of reciprocity. If you treat somebody a certain way, the normal way they treat you is to be similar to what you treat them. That's good, and it's also the bad. So I've never done anything to this colt to hurt him. So, and if I'm careful, he won't hurt me. And he didn't. That other horse that I have, that I took before this, was my colt. And I took him to a sale in California a few months later. And he was the top selling colt there. And it was because he was gentle. I mean, he knew some good stuff too, but it was because he was so gentle. He went to a man in Arizona. And last I heard, he's still there. What I mean is he's still alive. He's quite a bit older horse now, obviously. Because he was 2 then, and it's been 25 years ago. If you do the math, he's got to be. But he's still alive. I know because I checked with the registry. Okay.